I just come to the floor listening to the minority leader talk about energy. Energy. You know why he's in the minority and we're in the majority? It's because of energy. Because Joe Biden, former president, told the EPA, the Environmental Protection Agency, to prioritize the climate over energy that's affordable, available, and reliable. And they tried to shove electric vehicles down the throats of every man, woman, and child in America. That's why they're in the minority and we're in the majority. People want affordable energy. And I'm here today on the floor, and they're in the gallery. Many people from the state of Wyoming are law enforcement officers who are here as part of Police Week ceremonies, and they know about affordable energy. They know that this week in Wyoming, graduation week at home, gas at the pump is 50 cents a gallon cheaper than it was a year ago. So if they have to drive the distances around the state of Wyoming to see kids or grandkids at graduations, it's $10 a tank less to fill up now than it was a year ago when Joe Biden was in the White House and the Democrats were in charge. Wyoming is America's energy breadbasket. We're a powerhouse of energy. And Mr. President, your home state of Oklahoma knows a lot about energy as well. We know what the American people want, and it's not what Chuck Schumer's trying to sell here on the floor of the United States Senate or across the country. So when I come to the floor to talk about Police Week and hear the minority leader talking about energy, I just can't help but think about how much better we are now with this effort to unleash American energy than we were the last 4 years when they wanted to keep American energy in the ground and made it so hard for the hardworking men and women who produce that energy to do their jobs in ways that respect the environment, ways that protect the environment. That's what the American people want. That's what they voted for. And to hear the minority leader come to the floor where, when they left office, Biden left office, energy prices were 30% higher than they were the day he came into office. American people said, we can't afford this. We need a big change. And they got that change on Election Day. And I'm proud to be part of those who are being able to restore American energy dominance. I know the men and women who listen from around the country, and certainly our officers who are here today, know how important affordable energy is to our home state of Wyoming. But, Mr. President, I rise today during Police Week with a message to our law enforcement officers, and it's one they don't hear often enough. And it's a message of thank you. Thank you for the job you do each and every day, and not just to you, but to your families as well. Thank you for protecting our communities. Thank you for protecting our children. Thank you for protecting our nation. Look, in Wyoming, we are so blessed to have law enforcement officers, bravery, professionalism, capability, incredible individuals. There are 2,340 police officers in Wyoming. They serve across 77 departments in 23 Wyoming counties. For these protectors of peace, keeping our communities safe is more than a job, it's a way of life. And it comes clearly with unique challenges. Wyoming is a state with vast distances. That means officers face long drives, harsh winters, and moments where backup can be miles and miles away. There are also hiring challenges. We see these challenges nationwide. It means longer shifts and heavier burdens and fewer hands to answer the calls for help. Law enforcement officers are tested each and every day, and they deserve our nation's strongest support. Today we honor one such hero, Sergeant Nevada Krinke, who was of the Sheridan Police Department. Sergeant Krinke was a man of strong faith, selflessness. His colleagues said he always put other people first. Tragically, last year, he became the first Sheridan officer to lose his life by homicide in the line of duty ever. He's also the first Wyoming officer since 1997 to die in the line of duty. He was only 33 years old. I attended his funeral last year in Sheridan, the same community that he vowed to protect and to serve showed overwhelming support. More than 1,800 people attended. It was the largest single event in Sheridan, Wyoming, since Queen Elizabeth's visit more than 40 years ago. Strangers stood shoulder to shoulder, often 4 deep, along the streets. as the car bearing his body drove by. They waved American flags. They lined the streets as police cars escorted the family to the memorial service at the college. People came from all around the country to attend, even though they had never met and did not know Sergeant Krinke. The local newspaper asked one of them, who had come from a long distance, why he came. He replied, "I stand with those who stood for us." That's the Wyoming spirit. That's the cowboy code. Live each day with courage. Take pride in your work. Do what needs to be done. Sergeant Krinke was a shining example of what it means to serve others. Fittingly, his name will now be etched onto the roll call of heroes at our National Law Enforcement Officers Memorial here in Washington, D.C. To pay tribute to Sergeant Krinke, 39 law enforcement officers and their families from 13 Wyoming communities are here in Washington today. Many are joining us in the Senate gallery. With them is the Sheridan Chief of Police, Travis Koltiska. Chief Koltiska has worked at the Sheridan Police Department for 24 years. His job has allowed him to make his hometown a safer community and raise his 5 children with his wonderful wife, Mandy. They're also here. When Sergeant Krinke was killed, Chief Koltiska led the department through its darkest hour. Thank you, Chief, for all of your actions and for your leadership. Your actions helped so many in Sheridan during a difficult time. In a community where you grew up, where you were educated, where you raised your family, and where you continue to serve today. You are a high tribute to every man and woman in blue. It's been more than a year since that tragic day. To Sergeant Krinke's family, to his wife Carla and their daughter Bella, know this: your husband, your father, was a hero, and we will never forget him. Law enforcement officers face risks each and every day. The National Fraternal Order of Police reports in the first 5 months of this year, 109 law enforcement officers were shot in the line of duty. 25 were injured in ambush-style attacks. The solution to safer communities is to support law enforcement. And in the Senate, we are doing exactly that. This year, we passed the Laken Riley Act. It's now the law. The President has signed it. The Laken Riley Act included a provision from Senator John Cornyn of Texas that protects police officers from violent, illegal immigrant criminals. It requires Immigration and Customs Enforcement to detain any illegal immigrant who attacks a police officer. The Senate also passed the Halt Fentanyl Act. This legislation imposed tougher penalties on illicit fentanyl traffickers. It gives law enforcement the tools that they need to get deadly drugs off of the streets. To address recruiting challenges, I support President Trump's effort to increase officer pay, to improve training, and to seek tougher penalties for crimes against law enforcement. For 4 long years, Americans heard calls from Democrats to defund the police. America must leave those divisive anti-police policies in the past. We must focus on solutions to strengthen our communities and our law enforcement. It's not enough to fully fund the police. They must know that we have their backs. They must have both the tools and the trust to serve. And that's exactly what President Trump and Republicans in Congress are doing. This police week, Mr. President, let's renew our commitment to our law enforcement. Senate Republicans salute you, our officers, and we will always support you. Thank you, Mr. President. I yield the floor.